What's up, party people? It's Dr. Hyman. Welcome back to my non-existent YouTube channel. Today, we're going to be learning a little bit about the Hofmann elimination and the Cope elimination. It's important to note that in both of these eliminations, our goal is to get from an amine to an alkene. We're going to do it slightly different ways, but let's start with the Hofmann elimination. With the Hofmann elimination, we can start with either a primary amine, secondary amine, or a tertiary amine. Ultimately, all of these amines, primary, secondary, or tertiary, need to be converted to a quaternary, positively charged amine. How do we do that? We can use methyl iodide to convert primary to secondary, secondary to tertiary, and tertiary to quaternary. So we can use the lone pair on that nitrogen of the primary amine to attack the carbon of the methyl iodide, and then the electrons from that bond go into the iodide. Then we end up with a positively charged secondary amine, and we can use a base to deprotonate one of those protons, and then the electrons go back to that nitrogen. And then we end up with a neutral secondary amine. We can repeat this process to get the secondary amine to a tertiary, and then a tertiary amine to a quaternary amine. With that quaternary amine, we now have positively charged nitrogen neutralized by the negatively charged iodide, and that makes our leaving group for the elimination. Now the elimination involves a base deprotonating beta carbon proton. So we have two beta carbons with protons on them, but the Hofmann elimination will form the least stable or least substituted product. So this carbon is connected to that carbon, this carbon is connected to two carbons, so this one's more substituted. So we're going to deprotonate at this beta carbon, and which will make the less stable product. So this base can attack or grab this proton, and then the electrons from that bond will go into make this double bond, and then we can have this as our leaving group. Then that'll form our alkene. Now with the Cope elimination, typically start with a tertiary amine because we are not going to go to the quaternary amine. So with the Cope elimination, we can use hydrogen peroxide or MCBBA to oxidize the tertiary amine. We can take the electrons on that nitrogen to attack the O of the hydrogen peroxide, and then those electrons can go to the other OH. Then we can use a base, could be OH, to deprotonate that oxygen. Deprotonate the oxygen, and then the electrons just go onto the oxygen. Oh, and this is a positive charge. And then for this oxide, we can now again deprotonate at the beta carbon to then form our alkene. To do that, we actually take from the O- to deprotonate again at the least substituted beta carbon. We take electrons there from the O to grab that proton, then the electrons from the bond go in to make a double bond, and then we have again that leaving group to form our again less stable product with the less substituted carbon. So that's all for my little lesson today. I hope you learned something. Thank you for watching.